Hello everyone, Scott with Heritage Farms. All right, well, what are we doing today? Well, today we are on Operation Trophy Bass Pond, or I should say Trophy Fishing Pond. So this is a journey we're on where we want to make this a spot. We're going to build a gazebo over here with a fire pit, but we want this to be the spot. We want this to be the grandkid trap, friend trap, whatever you want to call it. So when somebody comes up here to go fishing, we want it to be where you cannot miss. So later this fall or early in the spring, we're gonna restock this pond. It's a 1 acre pond. We may try to make it a little bit bigger, but right now it's overran with bass, which we're basically fishing out every chance we get. But we're gonna restock this thing with bluegills, red ears, and minnows to supplement the bass. And then once you start feeding, you'll actually start building an ecosystem in here. We've made a lot of fish habitats. We'll show you a little bit later in this video that we're gonna take a flat bottom boat and we're gonna drop them in various spots out there. So the baby fish will have places to hide where the big fish can't get them and everything. So first step, we purchased a Sweeney automated feeding system. Let me tell you what, it's a pretty neat little concept. So this thing's got a solar panel. It's very similar to like a deer feeder, but in essence, instead of feeding deer, you're feeding fish. You can see on this side, there's a wheel in there that actually blows it out. I like this model because it has the open side glass where you can see how much feed you have in there. Probably holds somewhere around 75 pounds of feed. It's got a programmable timer. If you come in here, you can actually take a look, and we'll show you in a little clip in a second or two what it looks like when it's actually feeding. But you can set this programmable timer. You would be amazed in 1 second how much food this thing puts out. So we actually have it set up where it's going to come on twice a day, 6 in the morning and 6 at night. And right now we're only going for like 2 seconds per feeding. And you think, well, 2 seconds isn't much. Well, that's probably half a gallon of feed, but we don't have it stocked with what we want in here. So until we stock it with our proper fish, we're just doing a little bit of feeding, just trying to see what's going on, making sure our system works. But you can see I made a wood base for it. And the reason for that is as the weeds grow up, you've got a nice place to stand while you're feeding the feeder or adjusting the timer. Also, we have these little rascals, cattle. And I'm a little concerned about how the cows are gonna interact with it. You know, the cows get in here and they go swimming on the hot days. Hopefully they won't mess with it much, but that wood base is actually heavier than what you think. You put the feeder on top of it, and then you put, you know, 75 pounds of feed in there. Hopefully they're not gonna be able to move this around much. I'm probably gonna come back and put a T-post on each side of this little mini dock, just so they can't move it around if they start to rub on it. The other thing that I like about this is you can take the pallet forks of the tractor, you can come in here and pick it up, put a strap on it, and get it out of there. I also made it where we got like 6-inch blocks in the back versus 12 or 14-inch in the front. That way on a pull dam, depending on where we set it, it can be somewhat level or tilted up. We also have adjustability of these legs right here. So I may have to adjust it back because, you know, the further back, it may throw out a little further, but it was throwing out a good 20 feet or so. So I'm pretty happy with it. All right, so we'll go back and show you the fish habitats. We'll also put a clip in here of it actually dispensing feed. But step one of building a family fishing pond. We want this thing where anybody throws a line in, they catch something. That's the plan. Plus, who knows, if I retire one day and take a pay cut, I may have to eat fish every day. Hope not. All right, guys. Perfect. So in a couple of shorts I've posted before, I showed you guys some of the fish habitat that we're making. So in addition to setting up the Sweeney Fish Feeder on that 1 acre pond, We've also made some fish habitat. And before we actually stock that pond with bluegill, red ears, and minnows for the existing bass, we're gonna put some fish habitat in there. And the whole purpose of this is it gives them places to hide. And you can see we got them set on either concrete blocks or cinder blocks, and a lot of little places for fish to kind of swim in and out. The good news is that it's should last a lot longer than putting like a Christmas tree in the pond. Also, not only that, you look at this, you know, if you're throwing fishing rods and you're doing a little fishing, chance you're going to get hung up no matter what you do, but a little bit less likely in some of this stuff. So the taller stuff, we'll set these out probably one of these with maybe 2 of these. So that way you kind of got this tall structure in the middle. You got a little bit of fake fern, if you will, around the edges. So this is all stuff that's going to be submerged in that pond in clumps. And we'll have little clumps, probably about 4 clumps, if you will, of 3 or 4 items in a clump. And that way that just gives a little bit of structure, so wherever the fish are at in the pond, there's a little protection, because that was a man-made pond and there is nothing in there for protection. So those fish are on their own right now, and I think that's why the pond is currently overstocked with bass as we speak. All right, so this project's moving on, but first thing you know, October will be here. We'll get a flat bottom boat. We'll take this down here, set the structure. I'm gonna talk to a couple of different fisheries, find out if it's best to put the fish in October, or if it's better to wait till like March and put them in. Either way, we're making progress on a trophy fishing pond. Hello everyone, Saturday afternoon. What are we doing? Well, it's 100 degrees. So we've been inside the New Holland 5060. Considering we're back in the drought conditions, we're back on that small pond at Telephone 2 that we were on before, a couple of years back. So this thing used to be right about there. And you can see how much bigger we made it. And you can see now I'm trying to make it even bigger. So where the tractor's sitting earlier today when I started was about 2 foot lower than that. So I've added about 2 feet to that dam on the back side of this pool. So I'm hoping this thing's gonna catch a lot of water. We'll see. It's been a busy weekend, more to follow.